do Malta, South Africa and the Philippines have in common? Lovely places to go on holiday, of course, but they're also three of the most body-confident countries in the world, according to a new study. Meanwhile, Australia, India, and you've guessed it, the UK are bottom of the body positivity league table. I mean, is that surprising? Why is it? Do we just beat ourselves up? Why can't we be kinder to ourselves?
Honestly, why can't we be kinder to ourselves? But I'm looking back the other day, I was looking back all through the 80s when I was wearing those ridiculous clothes, and I looked at...
They were fashionable at the time, shoulder pads.
Oh, yeah, they were, yeah. This eiderdown I went out in.
Yeah, no, that was horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible.
To be fair, you're right.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Thank you. But actually, I looked back and I thought, actually, you were really pretty, and you were quite slim, and you looked lovely, and you... 1986, the nation stopped for my wedding, you know, and it was a great dress.
Yep.
It was a great dress. It was a great dress.
Oh,
yes.
phew.
It
Thank
actually
you.
was.
But I honestly, from that moment on, had such body, real morphous disorder, like self-hatred, so much so. And in fact, would you believe that Derek has now, in fact, it's a badge of office. I actually now sort of...
Get him out?
Yeah. Well, no. No.
I know what you mean, I know what you mean.
To the Duchess.
No.
Oh, my word, she's gone away to the tower.
No.
It's not legal language. Sorry, Brenda.
But
Awkward
just because
moment.
you did in your room.
I did, yeah. Oh, God. We'll come to that. That was so funny.
We'll come to that. Actually, seriously, I actually now feel really proud about my scar. Scars.
Yes.
And I remember Eugenie at her wedding when she has a scoliosis scar down her back and she wore a V-neck wedding dress. And I thought, good for you, you're wearing your scar. Now, luckily, my scar, if I walked down the street with no clothes on, it would cause a little bit of a front page. What do you think, Brenda?
Yeah, mine definitely. Yeah, it's two tones going on around here.
Yeah, but I've got a nice friend now.
Oh, right, yeah.
Derek.
Well, yes. Well, Pinky, for, you know... well, you've given yours a name, and I think that's wonderful. But for a very long time after I had my mastectomy, I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror because it was so different. And it wasn't until I did the full Monty, even doing the body positive campaign that we did on the show, that was great to boost my confidence, but I was very, very aware that one looked different to the other. But then I did the real full Monty with Colleen, and that was very, very emotional for me because I didn't believe that I was a beautiful woman anymore. Or, you know, that was what... I don't know why I keep doing that. But it was in speaking with Colin and as I say, getting that support and giving me my confidence in that way of saying, you are beautiful, you do look great, you know, and you are who you are. And as she said this morning, this is me. And so if you can't love yourself, nobody else is... You can't expect anybody else to love you.
Yeah. But I actually think you're just phenomenal. You're a phenomenal person. You know, you're just...
There's many who wouldn't agree. No, thank you.
It is incredible. And how brave of you to do that body positive.
Yeah.
Very brave. Did you all do it?
Yeah.
Are you going to do one for us? Oh.
Well, let's just say not today.
Yeah.
Brenda, how did you feel when you were going through the treatment?
Well...
Was that one of the hardest parts of the
treatment? That was one of the hardest parts because, as you said, opposite to what you were saying earlier, I didn't want to tell my family and I didn't tell my kids because I thought there'd be loads of questions. But I did have that as soon as I went... That was me in the cocoon after having my mastectomy and the DIEP, where it was a 10, 11-hour surgery. I was in a cocoon to have because you have to stay in there for at least 24 hours for the blood vessels to take. And because it's literally come from your stomach. And as you say, it was amazing. It's like, oh, my God, I'm going to have a waist all of a sudden. That was another thing that I used to beat myself up about. I've got a bit of a boyish kind of shape. And so I tried to find a silver lining in every bit of the cloud, but going through that process and that cocoon process, my mind was just thinking, well, I should feel happy because at least I'm here still, and it could have been such a different story for myself and my family. But it's taken a long time, and I still don't think I'm totally confident with my body. And, you know, I put myself out there, you know, but, yeah, looking in the mirror every single morning, I see it, and I'm like, OK, what should I put on to dress this or dress it that way?
But do you not have a newfound appreciation and love for your body, Brenda, in that having been through so much and here you are today doing everything that you want to do, and it's almost, well, it's not certainly the same, but after having babies, for instance, I was amazed by my body, that my body could do that. And here you are having lived through what you've just described, which is an incredible episode of your life. Yeah. And you're up on stage and you're singing and you're performing, you're doing all of these things. You need to take that moment, I think, to stand back and go, this is really, really impressive. My body is still letting me do all of the things that I wanted to do.
Yeah, I think for a long time it was more, I just always think, oh, what if it comes, if it's, you know, that's kind of, and I try to get rid of... And is that always
sort of there?
I think it is always there, and I never resurfaced. I got a bit emotional this morning in the meeting because we don't, you know, we talk about it and then I put it in a box and I close it, and then I try to move on and try to be my positive self. And then when we were having that conversation this morning, just recapping that moment and that period of time with the operation and the chemo and the loss of the nails and the loss of the hair, and it was just it's amazing to be here now to be able to help other people.
And do you get that fear? Do you get the fear that I was talking about? Because I've only since June the 20th, so
yours is still really recent.
We're still sort of sitting up. But did you go through those fear moments, or do you still?
I do still. I mean, when I had my operation, 5 weeks later, I was in an audition for Carousel with a walking frame, even though I'd had an operation. It was. For me, the nurses and the doctors said half the battle is your mental state. You've got to remain positive. If you give up, then you're kind of letting it win, kind of thing. So I just held on to that, you know, and just tried to smile for everything.
No, I know. When you do. I mean, having lived through it, obviously, with, you know, your family, and we know so well documented, but how have you viewed yourself? I mean, you've been in the spotlight and on stage from you were a little girl. You've been very used to people having an opinion, looking at you, having a comment. How have you dealt with that aspect of the job as such?
I think when you think back to 80s and things like that, we were kind of lucky. The press could be very cruel, but we were lucky that we didn't have social media. Well, because social media is cruel. Can be very cruel. And I feel sorry for young people nowadays, especially ones who have got... You almost have to grow a thick skin, and you always have to go, as long as I love me and the people I love me, I don't really care what you think. You know what I mean? You're not part of my life, you know, so you have to get used to it. But as far as do I get up every day and go, oh, I love my body, I've not met anyone that 100% loves their body. There's always something. You know, you've already told me you've got a dodgy belly button. Let's get it out there.
You've got a dodgy button?
I do. And to be honest, it was the best news I heard all day. Because finally I thought, oh, she's not perfect.
I've got a hernia behind my belly button.
Weird belly button.
She's got a what?
She doesn't like a belly button.
Oh, I've got a hernia behind my belly button, and she took great pleasure in this morning.
No, not the hernia.
No, not the hernia part. But actually, interesting. That is the point.
But it is.
I think
always find
social media always projects these perfect images of people as well. We all know things can be filtered and altered, and it's never quite as it seems. But even if you met that person, they're genuinely beautiful in the flesh. I'm sure they go home and go, oh, I hate my ankles or hit my whatever.
I remember Diana, she was so beautiful, wasn't she? And she used to walk, and then there was fat frumpy Fergie coming behind, almost like a big pair of shorts, you know, wandering around behind. And I really remember it. And of course, then it was in the 80s, wasn't it? And then it was all the Imagine if we had the trolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
It's a very... This is why we have to leave that and park that and understand it for the world that it is. And
I think women in general, whether you're on telly or not, we all need to start appreciating what our bodies are taking us through.
Yes.
You know, especially women like yourself and my sisters, you know, how strong they are. And that is their body and their mind getting them through everything. So who cares if you've got a roll of fat here and there or a dodgy belly button? Who cares?
That's it.